the only video I'll do on killing predator animals. This topic propped up against because Vegan Gains debated vegan foot soldier, and I think hench herbivore reacted to it. But I want to give some context on the topic. The killing predator animal debate came about from another vegan called Dr. Avi. He proposed the idea of killing predator animals to reduce suffering in the wild. And part of that is because predator animals lack the moral agency to make decisions for the greater good. The greater good being less pain, more well-being. And this is to protect species of animals who do not need to kill to survive. Hence why it's predator animals and not carnivore animals. Predator animals are defined as animals who kill prey animals for food. What do I think? I think it's an interesting topic. But it is way too early to be saying what we should and should not do. And it's actually kind of ironic that people like Vegan Gains and Dr. Avi have never really come out and said they'd hunt predator animals to do this. I sense dishonesty from both, but there's worse dishonesty from the opposition in this topic. It's obvious from the lack of understanding, the countless strawmans, and constant ad hominems, as well as this, for lack of a better term, gatekeeping. Gatekeeping what the community should and should not discuss. It's clear people don't understand the topic and don't take it seriously. They appeal to sensibilities, and this makes the arguments they make forfeit. I want to respond to some misconceptions I've read and heard. It's only carnivores. False. It's predator animals, as I defined above. There are carnivorous animals who can survive and thrive on a plant-based diet. Though evidence is lacking, I know cats can live on a vegan diet and can live in a house never going outside to reduce animal deaths. Though the last point may need more research. It's just to make veganism look bad. Nope. If this was true, you'd be seeing some obvious carnist nonsense from the same people. It will cause environmental issues. This has to be a pretty common response, because I made a post on r/debatevegan, a subreddit for debating vegans. And it was about a response to the killing predator animals debate, and I asked if there was a way to teach morality to predator animals. And all the responses were pretty much about the topic of killing predator animals, saying no, you can't discuss this. It's stupid, and then they don't explain why it's stupid. But some tried and suggested there's an environmental consequence on a debate about ethics. Nope. This isn't about the environment. It's about ethics. I'd concede if killing predator animals had a bigger cost on ethics as a result of a problem in the environment. But so far that hasn't been proposed. If you want to argue with that though, or if you think you have an argument against killing predator animals, debate Vegan Gains or Dr. Avi on it. Because they should be the ones you tell about this. Usually Vegan Gains and Dr. Avi are honest and mostly unbiased, so they are sure to hear you out on this. This means you want predator humans to die as well. No. Responding to a thing Vegan Foot Soldier said in the brief clip I saw of Vegan Gains reacting to Foot Soldier's video, but also steelmaning Richard here, humans have moral agency. They are often indoctrinated into believing they need animal products to survive. So they have moral agency, they just need the push to stop exploiting, abusing, and murdering animals. This is why. But there are certainly people who exist who maybe can't have moral agency and actually harm animals on purpose because of that. In which case, yes, they should be treated for the issue and fed a plant-based diet whilst being confined somewhere as to reduce overall harm. With that out of the way, here's my potential solutions to wild animal suffering to do with predator animals. Potential solutions. 1. A sanctuary where you provide lab-grown meat and plenty of space. It's pretty simple, but might be expensive. You have to understand that this may be a distant future sort of thing, but it is one of the most ethical solutions I can think of because there's a much lower chance for any animals to get hurt here, including humans. The goal of this is to obviously allow predator animals to live out their life almost normally, and nobody has to die. To make this clear, I'm not a believer in that we should treat animals exactly as we treat humans. It's more that I'm aware of the fact that we don't know how animals think or feel, so I'd prefer non-action wherever possible so long as it's ethical. 2. Like other debates on wild animal suffering have brought up, contraception. Just let them fade. Though I'd argue it's a less moral solution, because it still enables suffering. It's somewhere in the middle, and could be safer. But this would need to include the prey animals as well, because the population might be overwhelmed. which is a flaw with the killing predator animal debate admittedly. Overpopulation is an ethical issue too. So we need to approach this with an anti-natalist position, where unfortunately we'd need to wipe wild animals out of existence. I'm unsure if this is the right choice though because it's still early. This is all I can say on the topic. Hopefully I sounded as neutral and unbiased as possible. The topic isn't something to be laughed at let alone ignored. And it definitely shouldn't be strawmanned the way it currently is. I refreshed my Reddit inbox to see if one of the comments I left got replied to on this post I found about carnivore killing. Which is false, based on the wording alone. But the post didn't make any sense and ignored the moral argumentation entirely. And I gave a response to the comment, explain all the issues with the post, and I said something so fucking undeniable, I'm just going to have it as the text for this entire video, because I can't stress how important this is. If you think you can convince either Dr. Avi or Vegan Gains to stop killing predator animals, or at least advocating for it, you should go debate them. If you can't convince them, or think you can't convince them, what does this tell you about your position? How confident are you in it? They might give you a platform to bring your argument to. This is exactly why I bother to make this sort of content. I'm confident in talking about ethics. I'm open to discussion. I take an unbiased and neutral position wherever possible, and that includes this topic. I don't tolerate immorality. This is why I'm quite different when it comes to my activism, and why my approach is different to others. I try to lay out the facts and the morality. I don't hold negative emotions when I discuss these topics. I understand people's disbelief on this topic. I was really skeptical when I listened to the killing predator debate for the first time. I have a philosophy that honesty goes a long way, and it does. I admit when I'm wrong. I've even played devil's advocate in places you'd never expect. Actually I do that in Overwatch sometimes. At the end of the day, truth is what matters. If more harm is to come of killing predator animals, then it will be bad. As for where I stand, I side with killing predator animals, but with agnosticism. I feel as though it's a crazy proposition, but it's the only one we have for dealing with wild animal suffering.